I next invite Mr. Shobhit Tayal to the stage. Mr. Tayal is an architect and urban planner who co-founded Design and Planning Council, DPC, Ahmedabad. DPC is a consultancy and research firm providing integrated services across the sectors of urban planning, public space design, and architecture, and is involved with projects across India. Shobhit has been working with IITGN as owner's architect right from the inception. From advising on selection process, agreements, program development to review of designs, drawings, construction quality, he has guided IITGN on every aspect of campus design and development process.
Good evening, everybody. Being an architect and a planner, I'm more comfortable with showing visuals. Harish told me no presentations. So I've written down something and I'll share the stories briefly. Now, as owner's consultant, I'm going to share my views on why IIT Gandhinagar campus is one of the finest examples across recently developed public institutions of higher education in India. But before I move further, as an architect planner, I would admit that consultants, especially architects, are one of the most difficult animals to deal with. And IIT Gandhinagar has been successfully doing that. A lot of time, consultants will tell you things which you already know and still charge for it. A lot of times, consultants will tell you things which they actually don't know and still charge for it. And I'm sure a lot of friends from government departments and the business community would relate to that when they deal with consultants. Now the issue is, if you question why IIT Gandhinagar campus is one of the finest examples, is it because we are one of the first campuses in India to achieve the 5-star GRIA rating? Is it because we have won a number of design awards, and I'm not giving the list? Is it because our dining hall building is has one of the largest passive downdraft system, which reduces the energy requirement? Not because our buildings are disabled friendly and we are continuously improving them? Or is it because we have demonstrated largest confined masonry construction in India? Or is it because we have developed this campus efficiently and fast? I would say it is not because of these reasons it is one of the finest examples. It is finest example because, one, we have involved faculty and students and staff in the design and development process, which is a very difficult thing to do. Because IIT Gandhinagar, when we work with the consultants, we define problems and not give solutions. That's another difficult thing to do when you're working with consultants. And it is one of the finest examples because we are documenting our mistakes. It's not that everything is good about what we are doing. There are a lot of shortfalls, a lot of mistakes, but we are documenting them and trying to continuously improve upon them. Now, what happens when we involve faculty, staff, and students in the design development process? One thing that is important and that happens is that everybody takes ownership of the development. They're owning good things and the bad things both. The second thing about participatory approach of involving faculty, student is that there's a lot of capacity building that happens. Consultants, people will leave after 10 years, 15 years, but the campus is going to stay. So there is a need of capacity building, so that's also happening. But something interesting also happens that when we involve faculty and staff, especially students in the design development process, sometimes they start acting as designers. And they start telling the designers and engineer what is a good design. I remember an incident where a student was trying to tell a very senior architect how to design. And we'll have to just pull them back that please tell the solutions, don't talk about, please tell the problems, don't talk about the solutions. And because of this reason, that we don't want to become designers when we're talking with consultants, another habit that we have been trying to inculcate is that we define problems and not give solution. And let me give you another example on this. Imagine a situation where a structural consultant is trying to tell Dr. Sudhir Jain, who's sitting in the meeting, saying this is how structural design has to be done, and this is the code. Without realizing, and imagine a situation when Dr. Jain is finding it difficult to convince that, see, I was one of the person who drafted the code. So it's a interesting process. So another thing that has happened interestingly is that when we sit in the meetings, we do not wear hats of the experts. A faculty would sit as a client and not as a civil engineer who is also a client. So that's a very big difference. It's very difficult to do that. When you're sitting on this side and when you have a power of taking decisions, you start bringing your ideas into board and tell the consultant what to do. That's something which we have been trying. The selection process of consultants has also been very vigorous and time-consuming, to the extent that we have even interviewed sub-consultants of architects, the structural engineers, the service consultants. And that is, not everybody does that, but we have been involved in those processes. No work is foolproof. There are a lot of mistakes and shortfalls we have faced. As I said, that we are documenting our mistakes in design, construction, drafting agreements, and continuously improving and learning. The questions are how many institutes are ready to admit their shortfalls? To cite you an example, post-construction, we invited an expert agency to conduct audit on disabled friendliness of the campus. All the architects did design ramps, everything, but we still involved an agency. And this lady who herself was on the wheelchair, she actually said that there are still shortfalls. And again, we are still improving those things. To conclude, I would like to say that the role of built environment is to facilitate the idea of learning and reflect the culture and pedagogy of the institution. Why I rate IIT Gandhinagar campus as one of the finest examples is not just because of its built environment. It is because of its staff, faculty, and leadership. It is the involvement of the people who make an institution great and not the buildings. Thank you.